Good evening, fiends. Welcome to another episode of Sinister Parlour Podcast. I'm Zombie Barbie, and tonight I have a very, very special and amazing guest, director, writer, producer, the founder and CEO of MyIndie Productions, Itai Guberman. How are you?
Great. You make me sound so impressive. I like it.
You are. We got to talk a little bit before the show, and you really, really are. You know your shit, and you're a badass
And
director.
I can talk a lot.
You do know a lot, but you studied that too. So you're pretty awesome.
Thank you.
And
I do my best.
Seeing your best is just amazing. But you also, with MyIndie Productions, for anybody that doesn't know, which I would assume by now they should know, but you support so many artists, directors, actors, producers, writers. You support the entire indie community, and that is a huge, huge thing for so many people. I thank you on every show, and it's like you really are an amazing person.
Yeah, we appreciate that. It kind of happened by accident, that whole thing, but there was a plan for it. It just didn't happen the way we planned it, which now makes it confusing for a lot of people. Because what we have is MyIndie Productions is a production company, and now it's also an independent artist community. So when we started, the website was supposed to be just for the production company, but then realizing other filmmakers were sort of in the same boat as us, looking for exposure and looking, to get promoted, we thought, well, we're going to promote our own stuff. Why don't we do it for other people as well? Mm-hmm. So we did it on the same website.
Okay.
So then it was supposed to be, the MyIndie independent artist community, and it became MyIndie Productions, an independent artist community with the name of a production company. So it's confusing for a lot of people. But yeah, no, we do our best. We just never expected it to grow, as large and as quickly as it did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, you guys you're constantly posting so much content, and there's tons of movies and directors and stuff that I had never even heard of until I got to see it on, the group page and just all of your pages. And it's, some movies, it's like, holy shit, like I never would have found this had I not had you guys to promote that.
Yeah, we try to go as deep as we can with people. So we find, a lot of their past work as well. We sort of bring it back, promote it to show people, hey, look, this artist, has done a lot of work before. It's not just this new title that's been coming up. They've done, many films or music or whatever else before. And we just try to keep promoting it because our audience grows. Mm-hmm. So our new audience may not have seen some of the old promotions for certain artists. So we promote them again and again and again, usually every few months. Okay. But yeah, because of the number of artists, we have about, I think, 80 maybe odd artists on the website at the moment. Mm-hmm. But we also have close to probably another 30 or 40 waiting to come on. And it's just, It's a lot of work to get all those pages up. But we will get everybody there. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we do it constantly because of that, because we have, 80 people to promote, and every day we try to put at least, I don't know, I can't even, quantify it as far as posts or anything like that, but we put up as much as we can.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, and there's constantly so much, but even like on myindieproductions.com, it's cool when you go in, because on the group page and stuff like that, I'll click on who you're talking about and click on it, and then you have a whole page for them, and then you have the links, and that really helps to find these people's movies and music and YouTube shows and just everything. It's really cool how you guys do that, and you do it every single day. I can't imagine. You got to be working your ass off.
You can say that.
I think you said you never sleep. Remember that?
I said very little. I didn't say I never sleep. I try to get more, but yeah, it's anywhere between 3 and 5 hours a night. Yeah.
Okay, that's not enough.
Mm.
No, that's horrible.
So
I'm
if I
like
fall
dying if
asleep
I
in the
don't get
middle of
6
this,
hours.
yeah, if I start dozing off, it's nothing personal.
Sure. You say it's because,
Nah,
you're not getting
yeah.
enough sleep, but I'm probably just going to like make you super tired. And you're like, oh, I swear it's because I didn't sleep last night.
Nah. I've become very sort of used to, 4 hours sleep. Yeah, I've been doing it for a long time. If I sleep more than that, it's a bit of a struggle to keep sleeping.
Yeah. Yeah. So
So
when did you start MyIndie Production? Well, okay. So when did you start MyIndie Productions as a production company?
as a production company, I think I started at about 2013
Wow.
as far as registering the company, and we started pre-production on Third Temple. I had the idea for MyIndie Productions and was sort of getting started without spending money on registering it and everything, probably from about 2010.
Dang.
So probably about 10 years ago. Yeah.
God, that's a long time.
I had the idea even longer than that, but yeah.
Wow. And so when you started it, did you start alone or did you have partners in mind? Like who'd
Well,
you contact first?
I started with, well, I'll go back to the beginning, I guess. In 2009, no, 2010, yeah. I went to university to study film. I did a master's degree in film and television in Tel Aviv University in Israel. And I met Asaf Angel there. And we basically had lunch, sat down, talked about movies, all our excitement and everything. And then I told Asaf about my idea for MyIndie Productions.
Mm-hmm.
And basically gave him an offer to become part of it. And he loved it. And yeah, we started from there. So for a while, all we did was basically, our own university projects as well as worked on other people's projects. So not necessarily as MyIndie Productions, just as Itai and Asaf.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because out of our group at university sort of thing, I think we were present on like at least 80% of projects that were done, in those years in some way. We just helped a lot of people in all kinds of on-set, crew work. Asaf did some acting. I got roped into doing some acting. It was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, but most of the work I did helping other people was just as another sort of production assistant, or actually as a boom operator. Which was interesting for me because I got to learn about other little technical things that I didn't do before.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, at about 2013, I wrote the temple, and I wrote the treatment for it,
Mm-hmm.
and I ran it by Asaf, and he loved it, and I said, well, let's start working on this. So we wrote the script together, directed it together, and that was the first project for MyIndie. Yeah.
Third Temple was?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that was the very first one.
For MyIndie, it was. I made a short film way back in 2005, I think. I made that one in Australia. It was a crime comedy called The Collector. I made that with Peter Angel.
Okay. And they're
we
not
were
related.
Discussing earlier. Yeah, no relation. Peter was co-writer. We wrote it together, and he also was co-producer. But I directed that with DOP.
Okay.
So yeah, it was a strange situation where we just thought, let's make a film.
Mm-hmm.
let's see what it's like. We, just as a hobby. And yeah, Peter and I sat down, wrote the script, and then we just started sort of advertising online, trying to find other, crew, and then we did a whole casting thing for it. And yeah, we finished a film, a 10-minute film that went out to festivals. Very few, because we ran out of money. But we didn't make it for much. So we back then we didn't have much to spend. It was a film we made for it was pretty much the catering budget. It was about somewhere like $300 total, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we shot it over one night, 2 days. It was a lot of fun. And from there, we wanted to keep going and make into making features. We tried a feature, but again, we ran out of money. It was just too expensive, and we couldn't find any funding anywhere else. So we just kind of let that go. Peter was married and had a kid on the way, so he decided to go in other directions, and I sort of let go of the filmmaking thing as well. Up until 2009, 2010, when I went to study, to film school.
Oh, wow.
It sort of came back on me out of nowhere, I was like, I want to go and study something. What am I going to do? And my bachelor's degree is in business. So I thought I want to study something different. I don't want to do the same thing I did. It was basically 15 years between degrees.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang, that's a long time.
Yeah, it is.
But then it's like your calling, your true calling came. It's like, movies, if you write them, they will come. No, I'm just kidding.
Correct. Well, yeah, pretty much. People ask me why I do it, and my answer is always the same. It's I don't have a choice. I do it because I have to. I do it because if I didn't, I'd have all these stories running around in my head wanting to come out, and I kind of have to let them out. So yeah, when people always say, what are you? Are you writer, director, producer? I tend to leave producer out because that's one thing I do that I don't enjoy.
Yeah.
But even as a writer director, I say, well, look, I'm a storyteller. I have stories. I need to tell them, and writing, directing is the way to get that done. So,
Yep.
So basically, when I went to film school, met Asaf, and everything rolled on from there. It's been a hell of a ride.
Oh, well, yeah. Making films it's not easy unless you have, someone that's going to, like we were talking earlier, the big Hollywood movies, unless you have that money just handed to you, it's not easy. None of it is.
Now, indie is especially so, because early on you just have to fund your own stuff. So for me, it's almost like all the work I did prior to becoming a filmmaker was just to save up enough money to be a filmmaker. But, the more projects you actually make, the quicker you run out of money, and then you got to work out a way to make money from your films. And that is the the tough part, and that's the thing that most filmmakers are still trying to work out.
Oh yeah, definitely. See, my thing that's the hardest is I'm not a filmmaker, but just with any of my projects, whether it be acting or my books or whatever, promoting is my hardest thing. Like, it is hard to get out there, and I mean, you guys are amazing with promoting, and you are my biggest promoter, but it's like you can only promote yourself so much. But if you can't get people to watch it or click on it or subscribe or anything like that, it's just you can't force people to do it.
No. And that's the tough part, finding support. That was sort of one of the things behind the idea of the independent artist community. We figured that if artists will start supporting each other, then at least you have some sort of a support system. So if artists share other artists' work, every artist has some kind of audience, some smaller, some larger.
Mm-hmm.
We figured if everybody shared everybody's work, eventually all of our audiences will grow.
Yeah.
Um, as far as that goes, that didn't happen. It happened, but only to a small degree.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of artists are still competitive by nature.
Oh,
So they
yeah.
think that if they promote another artist, they're somehow hurting their own chances, which is not true in the least. So
Mm-hmm.
I think artists not promoting other artists are actually damaging themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Because any artist you promote, if they promote you back on their social media, their audience will be exposed to your work.
Yep.
And I'm not even saying to do it for that reason. Do it out of some sort of a, camaraderie. Do it, for the out of it. Do it because you like somebody's work.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but logically that should work. It's just that most artists don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's been the tough part, sort of convincing people to buy in on the idea of sort of what MyIndie is all about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And yeah, that's something that is an ongoing struggle, but we hope that eventually we'll get there.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've even seen and heard of, like artists that won't even really promote their own stuff, so they'll be in like this director's movie and, the whole cast and crew is promoting it, but these certain people won't promote it. And it's like, don't you want people to see your work? Aren't you proud that you were in that? Like you should, promote.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's very common, actually.
Mm-hmm. It's strange.
And actors are a strange bunch, because within actors you have people who will push the hell out of any project they're in,
Mm-hmm.
try to get themselves out there, get their name known, as much as possible. They will promote even work they don't like,
Mm-hmm.
because any publicity is good publicity, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas other artists just stick to it's shameless self-promotion. And it's like, I don't know who came up with that, but shameless or not, it has to be shameless for one. What shame do you have if you are an artist, if you're an actor, especially? You can't be shy. You gotta put it all out there.
Mm-hmm.
But I've heard actors say, it's not my job to promote. It's the director's project, so they should promote it. It's like, yeah, they do,
Yeah.
but it's not enough. We need all the help we can get as directors, as producers, as
Mm-hmm.
writers, whoever is behind the project. Every person. It's not just actors. It's also crew.
Mm-hmm.
I've had DOPs who didn't promote. I've had assistant directors, any kind of crew members who don't promote their work. And it's like, why don't you want your resume to be out there?
Yeah.
Why don't you want people to know what you've been doing?
Mm-hmm.
But some people just, yeah, I don't know. It's their own thing. They feel that it reflects badly on them. It's like they're showing off or something. Like, no, no one's gonna watch. No one's gonna watch your work unless you get it in front of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just very, very, very difficult. When we had our projects up online for free, it was very, very difficult to get people to watch them.
Oh.
When we have them now that they are with distribution and they actually cost a little bit, it's even harder.
Mm-hmm.
But it's that difficult to get people to check out your work. So it's like, if we had all our actors and crew and everybody involved with the project, if everybody promoted it, I'm 100% sure it'll have more views,
Oh,
whether it's
definitely.
free or not.
Yep.
But it just doesn't happen, because you have people, at least a few people for every person who want to support them, every
Mm-hmm.
person involved with the film. And most films have, even if it cast and crew total only at 10 people, if an average, of those, 5 people, if on average 5 people want to support them, you will have 50 views. But a lot of things don't have 50 views. Films, any type of content. I mean, even podcasts, you would see. You would probably be, some episodes are getting more views than others. And a lot of the time it has to do with the guest promoting it.
Yeah. Yep. No, I 100% agree on that. Even like a lot of podcasts I find from other people promoting them. It's like they'll promote them. I'm like, that sounds interesting. So then I'll click on it and I'll listen. I'm like, oh, that's actually, I like that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So it's
I do it all the time. I see my friends on social media promote a project. I'll go, oh, okay. Even if it's not their project, if it's somebody else's, someone I don't know, I'll go, oh, that sounds interesting. Let's have a look. So I would sit there, watch a short film, and yeah, that's another view.
Exactly.
I'm trying to support artists in that way as well. It's just, still very tough.
It is. It really is. It's like, seeing just from you guys promoting, just some of the people that I have found, Brett Mullen is one of them. Adam Steigert. Their name is so hard for me. I think Steigert. I found them from you. Jason Buterin from you. Gregory Blair, Mike Lombardo, is it Demiziano? Say his name.
Demiziano Cristoforo. Yeah.
Him. Yeah. So it's like all these people I have found from you promoting.
Yeah. Well, with Domiziano, I think it's an absolute shame that, more people don't know his work. He's amazing. A true artist. Everything he does has, reason behind it, and the way he shoots things is just beautiful. He's an extreme filmmaker, so it's a niche audience. But yeah, he's amazing. But most of those people you mentioned have made some really, really great work. And they all had some kind of audience behind them before we came along. We just hoped to grow that audience for them. And, with some we helped more than others. I mean, we gave them the same attention, just sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
There's no real, rhyme or reason to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just what people respond to. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. But it's like, constantly I'm finding new people because of promoting. And it's cool too, because now it's like we have Tubi TV. So a lot of people's stuff is on Tubi TV. So that's awesome too, because then you're like, well, I wonder who that is. And you look them up, you're like, oh, and then you watch it, so it's amazing how you can just find people through other people.
On Tubi, on Avail TV as well. Yeah.
I haven't used that one. What is it? Avail TV?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't used that.
It's similar to Tubi because it's in AVOD. It's advertising VOD. So
okay.
It's free to watch, but they apparently, or I'm not sure yet how much or how it actually works, but they do pay the filmmakers, which is great. Yeah, it's probably on a minutes viewed basis. But,
Huh. Well, I'll have to check that out too. I didn't even know about that.
It's got to be worth more than Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Amazon Prime.
All that shit that happened.
And they're dropping their, whatever they pay artists per minute is dropping, every few months or every year they decide to change it. In the end, they're going to start charging filmmakers to show the way it's going at the moment.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
Well, for a while after all that distributor stuff happened, didn't they drop all of the indie artists for a while?
Not all, but there was a big cull. They took off a lot of content. They didn't even discuss it with anyone.
That's such bullshit. Yeah, that's crazy.
None of our work is on Prime. We don't deal with that.
You're like, fuck Prime.
I'd rather make nothing than make, cents, because it would be very difficult to make dollars, I think. And at least I don't feel like I'm being ripped off. We have our stuff with AngerMan distribution, which, some titles are more successful than others, but at least we don't, again, feel like we were being ripped off.
Yeah.
So
I see Third Temple right behind you, huh?
it's Dolphin as well.
Oh, they're together?
Yeah, it's a double.
Oh shit, that's cool.
Mm.
Nice.
We're hoping to release. Oops, we're hoping to release this through AngerMan in the near future.
Nice. I got
Yeah,
to see both. I saw Third Temple, Ivy, and Dolphin, and I liked
and the
them
Bruce
all.
Springsteens.
What?
Yes, and the Bruce Springsteens. You saw everything.
And yes, and the bruised. I keep wanting to say obviously Bruce Springsteen, but yes, the bruised
Oh,
Springsteen teens.
that's where the idea for the title came from.
Yeah, I liked that. It reminded me a little bit, how you do like all the different little clips and stuff. It reminded me of Kids in the Hall,
Mm-hmm.
and then
We got that before, yeah.
Flight of the
Somebody told us
Conchords.
that. Yeah, yeah.
I liked that.
That was Flight of the Conchords was a little bit of an inspiration in the style of it. Yeah.
Oh, so I was right.
It's that thing we talked about this before recording, but about that whole thing, how the reality all of a sudden changes within
Mm-hmm.
within the episode. One of the examples that I used to give people, I used to say, "Have you seen Flight of Conchords?" It's a little bit similar to that,
Mm-hmm.
Not many people have seen it.
No. And from them, I don't know his name, but Jermaine something, and he was in What We Do in the
Twins.
Shadows.
Yeah.
Fucking love that movie.
He's yeah. I love the movie and the TV series is amazing. It's hilarious.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The movie
It's
is like,
just
I love the movie.
Well, having seen the Bruce Springsteens, you know I like ridiculous humor. So
Yes. And your little warnings that were beforehand. So are these available? Obviously I don't want to give anything away, but are they available because I guess where can people watch them?
They're all available on AngerMan Distribution.
Okay.
AngerManDistribution.com. Also on our website, we have links to stream all of them on their project pages.
Okay.
All aside for Ivy. Ivy is not released. Ivy is waiting for revelation.
Oh, I didn't realize it wasn't released.
Ivy was
okay.
Ivy was an interesting story. We never made it with an intention of it being a short film.
Mm-hmm.
Ivy was part of the whole revelation concept, the whole idea. And when we shot it, we thought, well, I thought I was going to invest a lot of money into this feature.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to sort of test the water first, see how people respond to the work, to the material. So we edited Ivy as a short film and sent it out to festivals.
Okay.
And it did very well. So we thought, okay, we feel confident about moving ahead with Revelation. And yeah.
Yeah, Ivy was
2+
good.
years in the making so far, but yeah.
It'll get done. You'll get it done.
Well, I'll get it done no matter what. People ask me, I say I'll get it done if it kills me,
mm-hmm.
and it just might.
Yeah. Okay.
Now Corona, who knows what's next? But yeah.
Fuck, I know.
But the whole COVID-19 has delayed it in at least a year, which is really sort of tough to take. But what can you do?
Yeah.
It is what it is. And we're not alone. A lot of other people have had their projects basically postponed is the best way of putting it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So many. It's insane. This whole thing is insane. Dolphin. So like I was saying, I liked all three of them, Third Temple, Ivy, and Dolphin. But for some reason, Dolphin was my favorite. And I don't know if it's because Asaf, like just because I know you guys and seeing him in it and then hearing him speaking. Is it Arabic?
It's Hebrew.
Hebrew. That's right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Remember before we were recording, I'm not very good with like geographical stuff. So I sound like a total idiot. But Hebrew, it's so cool. And it's like, and I don't know, I don't want to give anything away, but I guess to see, I'd give it away. I can't say it.
Well, our
his
first couple of films were made in Hebrew, but yeah, because Third Temple is in Hebrew as well. But after that, basically from the Bruce Springsteens, it's all English. If I end up making anything in Hebrew again, it'll be sort of going back to it. But I have some plans of still making a couple of Israeli films if I can. But yeah.
Well, it's really cool to be able to do that too, because I really like subtitles. And I know some people, don't, because you feel like you're missing the movie, but I can read it and watch at the same time. I'm sure a lot of people can, but I liked it, but I liked his, I guess, personality in it without giving it away. You're just like, holy shit.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
When we made Dolphin was actually shot before Third Temple.
Before Third Temple, okay.
We shot the footage in 2011.
Oh.
It was actually as part of a class in film school.
Oh.
The reason it was even written was pretty much a challenge or a dare by one of my lecturers.
Oh shit! You did good for being a dare. That was awesome.
We had a class where everybody was showing clips or short films or stuff that they've made, and someone was showing a film that had a gun in it and a gun that was fired in it. And after we watched it, the lecturer started a whole conversation about how in independent filmmaking, showing weapons and weapons fired and all that is generally not very realistic. And we were, we brought it up for discussion as to why that is. And a lot of people said budget, and all kind of technical issues and why it's difficult and all the rest of it. And I said, no, I don't think that's it. I think it's all doable. I don't think you need money for it. And he sort of stopped and smiled. And this lecturer, Savi Gabizon, he's actually, I would say, one of the most successful Israeli filmmakers of all time. He made at least 3 features that are in the top 10 grossing films, I think, over there.
Wow.
But he sort of smiled and kind of nodded and stopped. And then he looked at me and he said, interesting. Let's you back that up. And I was like, okay.
Shit.
So I was taking a bus to and from university. So when I went back home on the bus ride, I wrote the treatment for Dolphin. And I basically had an idea of how I was going to show a weapon there and make it realistic. I wouldn't go and say Hollywood standard, but maybe. So yeah, that's how it kind of all started. And when we finished, we showed it in class, and he kind of stopped and did the thing again where he sort of smiles and nods at the end of it. And then he looked at me and he said, "How did you do that?" And I was like, "Thank you, I'm done.
My
drop. Work here is done. I'll see you later." Yeah. So this esteemed director had to have me, like he was trying to guess, how we did it.
Oh.
Yeah, which was really like Asaf and I were sitting there just looking at each other like, really? Okay.
And you never told him?
So yeah. Oh, I did.
You did.
Of course, it's not a secret. It's like, many people in the industry would know how to pull that off. Whether through whether using practical effects or special effects, computerized effects, it doesn't really matter. You can do it in many ways. But yeah, we did it, and for most people that was fairly realistic. In case you're wondering, it's obviously that scene at the end, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
Um,
really liked it.
mm, so yeah, so that was a lot of fun. But then in 2016, basically realized that I still had all the footage from Dolphin that that was never used, because when we packaged it to show in class, used a lot of music for the soundtrack that I didn't have the rights to use because it wasn't going anywhere. It was just for a class project.
Oh,
Never
yeah.
never put it online or anything. Um, and I realized, oh, we have copyright issues here, so I can't release
Mhm.
it. So I think it was shortly after, it was in about 2012, I basically put it aside and said, all right, I'll deal with it another time.
Mhm.
And only in 2016, I kind of took it off the shelf, sort of dusted it off, and we re-edited the whole film and, put in a new score for it, um, for the soundtrack, and had the whole sound design and everything. So yeah, and then we released it. So it was released 5 years after it was shot.
Wow, that's awesome. I never would have
That's
guessed that
why
it was basically, a student film from a dare.
it
I
was. It
never would
was.
have thought.
Yeah, that film cost me all up. After everything that I did in the end, the sound design and everything cost me less than probably $3,000, something like that.
Wow. I mean, 3,000 though, that's
Yeah.
still everybody doesn't have that in their
Well,
pockets. That still took a chunk
but
out of
that's
your
the thing. But the post production part is what increased that budget.
Yeah.
The original version that we did, for class was maybe probably less than $2,000. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you did a damn good job. It was good. So everybody needs to
I was going to say,
see that.
but that's why Asaf looks so young in it. It was shot 5 years earlier.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
um, Speaking of Asaf, so in
Mhm.
the Bruised Springsteen, I can't say it, it's like a tongue twister for me for some reason. I liked
Just
how
say the
he
Bruce
made an
Springsteens.
appearance. Huh?
Just
What?
say the Bruce Springsteens.
Bruce Springsteen's. Bruised
Uh,
Springsteen. It's like
the
I'm trying to
Bruce
like
Springsteens. Yeah,
pronunciate
Bruce
like
Springsteens.
every part that's in there. But when he made the appearance at the
Yeah, no,
end,
no need to enunciate. Just Bruce Springsteens is fine.
Bruce Springsteen's. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm making it harder than it should be.
I'm still waiting for the boss, for Bruce Springsteen, to find out about this.
Maybe he'll love it and then he'll be like a silent partner.
I doubt it. I doubt
You never know. You'll be
it.
like, I named it after you, but I changed it so I didn't get sued. Um, but it was cool to see
Well,
Asaf in that. What?
yeah, he had a cameo. Yeah.
That was cool. I don't want to give that part away
Mm.
though. Like when we were texting earlier.
Oh, there's not much to give away in that, but yeah.
Well, the guy he was talking to, what I was gonna say, and you're like, it wasn't him doing it. He was,
The guy he was talking to,
yeah, so he was
the guy
talking
Asaf
to,
was talking to.
yeah, in the bathroom.
Mm. Well, that I told you, that's Tomasz Corey. He passed away a few years ago. Yeah, a couple of years ago.
Mm,
Which was a yeah was a bit of a downer, let's say.
yeah, well, yeah, definitely.
Um, yeah, no, he was a lot of fun. He really liked to laugh. That made that whole set a lot of fun.
Hmm. How
So yeah,
how did you find him? Because basically there's
he.
two actors through
Uh-huh.
the whole thing. So how'd you find them?
Well, when we started casting for the show, we knew the kind of character, the kind of look we wanted. We wanted the two to look very different.
Hmm.
Um, and it's probably not that easy to find someone with that kind of look, but once you put it out there, there's only a few candidates really. So we had auditions, but when Tomer came in, as soon as we looked at him, we knew
Hmm.
he was our guy. Even before, because he sent us some stuff, and we saw he did like it was a comedic skit that was basically spoofing a commercial.
Oh, okay.
And as soon as we saw him, we were like, "Yep, he's
That's
our
okay.
Shatner." The character's name. We said that's Shatner, no question. And when he came to audition, he did well, so we had no problem there. And Zach Cohen, the other guy, the taller actor playing Wes, when he came into audition, he just blew it out of the water. He was just so much better than anyone else we saw. It was just, we basically packed it in that day, saying we don't need to see anyone else. That's done.
That's cool.
And he's just such an amazing actor, and he is not necessarily a comedic actor as well. So everything that he does, it was almost done seriously, like dramatic acting, and it makes the comedy that much funnier. Whereas Tomer's acting was more comedic, and it just that sort of the way they played off each other was just what made it work.
Yeah, they did good. I noticed the taller guy, what was his name?
Zach Cohen.
He was wearing the Third Temple shirt in there. That was cool. Yeah. Can we say the other shirt or no?
It was even before we even printed the Third Temple shirts. We just printed a simple shirt that said Third Temple on it, and that's it. And we put it in there, and it means absolutely nothing to the actual, series.
Yeah.
But we thought that'll be like semi, autobiographical kind of thing. Because the joke with the series was the way the idea came about was when you start making films as an independent filmmaker, or even as a writer, people say, write what you know. It's always about write what you know. It's like a big, a piece of advice. And I said, well, fine. I said to Asaf jokingly one day, fine, let's make a movie about two guys trying to make a movie. Because that's who we were, and and from there I sort of changed it around a little bit and made it different. It wasn't even meant to be a comedy originally. And I thought if I'm making something without a budget, I am basically gonna make it as crazy as I can. So
there were some crazy parts. Quiche, can we say quiche?
There's quiche.
Fucking. As soon as I saw it, I was at work when I watched it, and I was like, oh my God, I'm like dying laughing. And I'm trying to be quiet, obviously, because I'm watching a friggin' movie at my work.
Yeah.
And so I was like,
for us,
holy shit.
the stupid sort of little changes we made from what we were spoofing, that you're talking about the American Pie spoof. Just changing pie to quiche for no apparent reason was just really funny to us.
It is funny. And then what he ended up doing, like when the guy caught him, it was like, I was like, oh man, that was awesome. And
that was a lot of fun. That was a scene that was very, very tough to shoot because they had to almost do it all in a sort of a one take when they're sitting across from each other. So yeah, that was like lots of laughs and a lot of frustration as well. Trying to get through that. That was because we have the Pulp Fiction spoof that was even an even longer one take, and that has camera movement. That was really tough to shoot.
Yeah.
That took us, I think, I can't remember exactly, but I think it was over 40 takes.
Oh my gosh. Dang.
Yeah, it was because Asaf was DOP on that, so he shot that scene. Yeah, I remember. It was basically Asaf was facing them as they were walking. He was walking backwards, and I was behind him with a hand on his shoulder, sort of directing him where the walls were, where he needed to turn.
Oh man.
Yeah. It took a few tries, but that was a lot of fun.
It took a few tries.
A few.
40.
Well, because some of it had to do with the guys botching their lines every now and again because either they were laughing or they couldn't remember, or Tomer's mustache kept falling off. That was also.
Oh.
You see some of that, I think, in the bloopers.
And he like puts it back on.
but we had, along with the it was tough lines to memorize.
Yeah.
But along with that, all the sort of costume issues and lines and camera movement. It took a fair bit. So I remember when we finally got to the end of it and we had it, instead of yelling cut, I just kind of jumped and hugged the guys. Like, yes, we finally did it.
We got it.
Yeah. That's what Zach was yelling out. We got it. Yeah. I think that's in one of the bloopers as well.
Nice. I watched one or two of the blooper reels, but I don't think I saw that one. I was trying to get caught up. I was trying to watch all of them, like the episodes and the bloopers and the pilot, and I was like, I gotta watch this.
Well, the pilot is the first episode.
Oh, okay. So I watched that last night, and then I watched the rest today then. Well, I watched what you sent me last night.
I sent them to you in order.
Well, you sent me, so I watched the 3 that you sent me through WhatsApp, and then I watched all the other ones that had, like the passwords and stuff. I watched those today. Okay. And then I started kind of...
WhatsApp? Through WhatsApp, I just sent you the intro, and I sent you a couple of promo skits we did. They're not actually part of the show. We just did them as a promo, and one that was the promo with basically just a voice talking and a lot of things exploding.
Yes, that was funny too. It's like the quotes. Are those real quotes?
All made up. Everything about that show is made up.
No, that's funny. Yeah, I totally thought the quotes were real. Okay, so that's why I got mixed up. Promo and pilot, the word I got mixed up. So I watched promos last night, everything else today.
The 5 episodes. That's what I sent you in the email. I sent them all in order. Yeah.
That's it was so good. I like it. Are we allowed to say what was on his shirt and then the quote that was in the beginning? Or is that going to give something away?
Well, it's going to give it away, but if anyone hasn't seen it by now, then, they can go and see it. We'll ruin that little one for them.
Okay. It might make them want to see it just because they're like, wait, what is that? I had to Google it again.
Let's just say that it's a sentence that involves the word bukkake. Yeah.
Fuck. And like I was telling you earlier, so have you ever played Cards of Humanity? So do you know what I'm talking about?
No,
when I say the card.
I know of it. Yeah.
Okay, so
I know of it, but I've never played it.
So one of the cards says pixelated bukkake. And so when I played it played the game the first time, I'm like, what the fuck is that? Because you're supposed to pick like the best cards that sound like the most fucked up. And so I'm like, I don't even know what that is. And so I Googled it. And I was like, oh, that's what it is. Okay. So now it's like super funny.
Yeah, when people ask me.
So then I put it with my cards.
I always say that it's a version of the Japanese art of origami. Not even close.
So everybody get out Google and look up that word.
Yeah, but as I was telling you before, one of my proudest moments is having to explain that to my mom.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah, you never want your mother asking you what bukkake means, ever.
You're like, well, Mom, this is what it is.
Yeah, I had to do that. Scarred for life.
And what was her response?
No, she thought it was amusing. Yeah, she thought it was funny. It still didn't make it any better for me, but yeah. But I remember when Asaf read that line, and even Zek and Tomer when they read the bukkake line, kind of all looked at me and went, too far. It's hilarious, but too far. I was like, yeah, it's staying. I might rewrite the whole show around it. I'm leaving that.
Yeah. Oh,
I expect to have that on a T-shirt in the very near future.
You're gonna have all these people like Googling it, like, what is that?
Walking down the street with that, yeah, that's gonna be fun.
If you make those, I'm gonna have to buy it, like, to give to my brother or something, because he'd seriously wear it just to be a fucking, like, to fuck with people.
Well, that's the thing, with social media and everything, how people have become so sensitive.
Oh, geez,
everybody said, we're going to get some backlash for that, and as I told you, my thing was, who's going to see it? You need people to watch it to have backlash. But now, like with the Me Too movement and all that, I'm sure that we'll cop some some interesting emails.
Oh, probably. But it's like, there's backlash on everything.
I know, because people are sensitive to everything. They're looking for stuff to be sensitive about,
Yeah.
This is wacky comedy, we're not saying anything or doing anything to hurt anyone or anyone's feelings. It's just funny to us. It doesn't have to be funny for everyone, but it's funny to us.
Yeah. And if you don't like it, don't watch it. But it's like, man, everybody has to censor themselves on everything because everybody gets offended. And it's like so irritating. And comedy is comedy, It's like comedy is fucked up. Comedy is to, make fun of shit.
After Tomer passed away, I was in touch with his mother, and she was asking about the Bruce Springsteens. How can she watch it and everything? And I just sent her the links, and she loved it. She thought it was hilarious. So it's like you have all these people who, find humor offensive. It's like, well, if you find things offensive, probably not the show for you.
Yeah, definitely. I thought it was funny. I laughed at all of it. I have a dark sense of humor.
I shouldn't, having written it, I shouldn't say it, but I laughed at all of it too.
Good. As you should, because it was funny. There was one line, and I'm not going to give away the scene, but whenever he's like, don't be assholes. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That was, I don't know why that fucking cracked me up so bad.
That was in the interview scene. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that interview, it keeps repeating through the episodes as a sort of a staple. It like holds it all together. But those interviews are a spoof of True Detective.
Okay, I was trying to place it because it's like, I placed some of them, but then there were ones like, okay, that's really familiar, but I can't quite put my finger on it.
Well, because we spoofed it, we changed a lot of things, so some people can't connect it to the original, because in that one, he, where he says "don't be assholes," he's actually trying to do some lines of cocaine in the middle of an interview. In the original, he was just smoking a cigarette.
Oh, okay.
So he was about to light it up, and then they say, you can't do that in here no more, because they were inside, and all the smoking laws that came out, you weren't allowed. So initially I wrote that as a smoking scene as well. And then we were shooting it, and Tomer just kind of said, if we're doing the smoking thing, if I'm also smoking, mind you, he couldn't smoke anything. He would take one drag of a cigarette, he would just start coughing. So that kind of killed that a few times. But he said, if we're spoofing it, doesn't it need to be something worse than smoking? And Asaf and I just looked at each other and we went, yeah. And he went, well, how about if and we were all like, cocaine. Yeah. So we went and we found that mirror, found something that looked like cocaine, and got the credit card and all that, and reshot that scene. So that was actually full credit to Tomer on that one.
That's awesome. I was going to ask you, since you said it looked like cocaine, what did you use? Because it looked like cocaine.
I can't remember what it was. It was some kind of powder for something for, I can't remember if it was for cooking, but it was something edible. I can't remember what it was.
Oh, okay. And then how'd you
Because the
get
way
it?
we did that, which part?
No, go ahead. No, finish how you
No,
did
you
that.
first. You first.
Well, I was going to say, how'd you suck it up? Like, how'd you get it sucked up like a line?
Well, that's what I was going to say, because it's sort of the actual sucking part is off screen. Asaf did that. He just sucked it all into his mouth.
Oh, okay.
And then he choked and started coughing, which was also hilarious. But yeah, we were trying to work out how we're going to shoot that, and it's funny, but people almost don't notice that when it gets sucked in, it's done off screen.
Mm-hmm.
So Tomer wasn't even there when we did that.
Okay.
But
So
it's just edited, just right.
Yeah.
So
Okay, because I was like, I wonder if they
and
really sucked it up in their nose, like to make it, because it
one
sucked up so like
nah,
perfect. I was like, whoa, I
yeah,
wonder.
and what was even more perfect was when after the sucking part, when we came back to Tomer, the way he responds, sort of acting as if he just sniffed cocaine,
Mm-hmm.
was to me very funny. I remember I was just laughing all the way through that.
Seems like it would have been a lot of fun to make. Oh man.
It was.
So the parts that I picked up as far as what the movies were, Frankenstein, Braveheart, Pulp Fiction, Anchorman, Casablanca, American Pie. What were some other ones?
There's No Country for Old Men.
Okay. I don't think I've seen that.
Okay, that's the the coin toss scene. It's very famous, especially amongst filmmakers.
I know.
Well, there's The Godfather, which we talked about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
That
part was really funny too.
Yeah, that was one we laughed a lot. Even when I was telling you, when I just told Asaf about it before I even wrote it into the script, yeah, he almost lost consciousness laughing. He had no air. He was just on the ground. I was like, yep, we definitely have to do this one. Yeah. What was the other one? Jerry Maguire is in there. Field of Dreams. That's the If You Write It, They Will Come.
Yes. Okay. Gosh, it's been forever since I saw that movie.
Fiction, I think you said.
Mm-hmm.
Off memory, I think that's all of them, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
But yeah.
And then
that Frankenstein scene was fantastic. Yeah, True Detective is the only one that is TV and not a a spoof of a movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I liked that. I thought it was good because you're like, well, I don't know if it's you're kind of, it's not horror, so I don't know if you like it. I'm like, I have a weird sense of humor, so
I tell everyone, yeah, anyone who watches it, I tell them, a bit of a disclaimer that I'm not sure if it's their kind of thing because it's a very particular type of humor.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So yeah, we actually have Anchorman in there. I think twice. There's
That's right.
There's also Scarface.
Which one was I don't remember Scarface.
It was just before Anchorman. It was basically when he's sitting there and there's like a mountain of cocaine in front of him.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. All this cocaine. What the hell?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
And then he dips his head into it and has a bit of a sniff, and then he's got it all over his nose. That was in Scarface too.
That's funny. Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, people definitely need to watch it.
I told you I have a bit of an exclusive for you.
Yes.
So the exclusive is to do with the Bruce Springsteens. We actually thought of the idea before this whole COVID thing, but we've been basically editing a movie version.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so it's almost finished. We're going to have the Bruce Springsteen's movie.
Cool.
Yeah, it's basically a lot of material from the episodes. Plus, we used a lot of the extra scenes we have and a couple of scenes that we edited out, because the episodes had to be a certain length.
Yeah.
So we have a few more spoofs coming.
Cool. When's it coming out? Do you know?
Now we don't have a date yet, but it'll be this year.
Cool.
I hope so. Anyway, there was a couple more spoofs in the intro and also in the teasers that I sent you.
Oh, that's exciting. How cool. Well, and then it's
Well,
cool
you
too
saw
because
the
you don't have
intro.
to film anymore, right?
Yeah, well, we can't anyway.
Yeah.
Well, since Tomer is no longer with us, we can't really shoot any more scenes. But we had a lot of material, and we thought, well, we got to do something with it. And eventually, I thought, well, why don't we edit it into a film?
Hell
We
yeah.
tried putting it all together to see if it actually works as some sort of a coherent plot. Even without all, even with all the crazy, it still has to somehow flow. And we did that. So it took a lot of re-editing. We edited another little spoof in there that is actually horror related.
Oh, cool.
So that would be interesting because I think horror fans will pick up on that. It's in the very beginning too.
Oh, I want to see it. Can I have like an exclusive?
I don't know. We still have to get all that material together. So, some of it is still going through certain processes. But hopefully we'll have some news in the next couple of months as far as a release date.
Cool. Ooh, that's exciting. I got an exclusive.
But the intro where they're both cowboys.
Yeah.
That's a spoof of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And in one of the teasers, we're spoofing Jurassic Park.
In what?
In one of the teasers, the two that I sent you on WhatsApp.
Oh, okay.
Where he's sitting there and typing, and the water glass moves. The water in the glass. You remember that?
Yes, I do. No, I do.
The spoof of Jurassic Park, and the other one with the old lady that goes to the door. Sarah Connor. That's Terminator and Conan are both spoofed in that.
That's right. Okay, yeah, Sarah Connor. I was like, that name sounds so stupid. I'm like, that name is familiar. Now that you said it, I'm like, oh yeah.
That's probably why you didn't get the joke, I would say, if you didn't know it was Terminator, but yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was funny. I couldn't place the name. I'm like, shit, I know it.
No, like you thought it was funny, but you didn't know why, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I was just laughing because I thought it was funny. How many friggin' wigs did you have to have? And mustaches?
I don't know how many we had to have. I just know we had a lot. So some of them weren't even used, but we bought so many, just preparing for certain things. We also, there was a lot of trial and error. So we bought a few that didn't work.
Oh, okay.
So we had to go and get other ones. But that scene that we were talking about earlier, that was from, that was a spoof of Godfather. Let's just see. Does this look familiar?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's on the bed. That's the back of his head on the bed was this.
Oh, it was that mask?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There's a couple times I kind of looked at it while I was sitting over there. I was like, that kind of looks like it.
It was
attached to the mask.
Completely by accident, but it looks exactly like Tomer's hair. So so that worked.
Yeah, that's funny.
The handsome fella.
I know, like through the whole thing, I was like, man, there's a lot of wigs and a lot of mustaches. I bet the wigs were expensive because I know they're not cheap, and you have so many different ones. I'm like, that's a lot of money.
Well, the funny thing in a scene that is actually not in the series but will be in the movie, we needed to put a beard on Tomer, and none of the beards we had were big enough. So we cut a few of the mustaches and added it on to cover his face. So we made mustaches into a beard. So, yeah.
At least it worked.
Well, on the set, we used to say that Tomer is basically like Teflon because nothing sticks to him. It's all over the bloopers. His mustaches just kept falling off. That Frankenstein scene was took us a while. Every time he did the laugh, the mustache would fall off him.
So out of everything that you have done, the movies and the web series, what is your favorite? Do you have a favorite?
It's very difficult to have a favorite because they're all so different.
Yeah, they are different.
Bruce Springsteen's is a favorite for a certain reason, whereas something else is a favorite for something else. Uh, Bruce Springsteen's is my favorite because I love comedy. I loved laughing through it and enjoying. Also, to some extent, didn't feel the same pressure as with other productions because again, we didn't invest. We still invested a fair bit because we shot it over a long time. It was 5 episodes. There's enough material for a feature. So, but we pretty much shot this feature probably in about 12 days all up, something like that.
I was going to ask you how long it took.
Yeah, because we tried to separate the episodes. We did one day where we just shot all the interview scenes for all the episodes. One day or one weekend, I can't remember. And yeah, over one weekend we did that, and we did all the teasers and stuff like that, and then we just went and gave every episode a weekend because we didn't want to make it too. Because we only shot on weekends because everybody had to work during the week. So yeah, it was crazy. But again, just because it was so much fun, and I do love comedy, and writing it was a lot of fun. The Bruce Springsteen is a bit of a favorite. But yeah, as far as favorites, there's something about Third Temple that was always a bit of a favorite of mine because I don't think it's ever been done before. Something about that story that just came to me, and I could not believe that no one's done it. A lot of people said, "Oh, it reminds me a little bit of Black Mirror, that type of subject matter," but nobody has ever seen something like that before. And as far as production value, Ivy is definitely my favorite because it's probably the most expensive and the best looking project that we've had, and also it's had the most success. I mean, the others didn't get sent to as many festivals, and even Ivy was sort of modestly sent into festivals, but it did very well in almost every festival it was sent to. So
that's awesome.
We're pretty happy with that. So yeah, as a filmmaker getting recognition, Ivy was that point. Where I won a couple of Best Director awards, and I won a few awards for the script. So yeah, so that was nice. But I think once I finish Revelation will probably be my favorite because it's my first feature, and having finished it and all the rest of it. So, as people say, it's a little bit like choosing between your babies. You can't really have a favorite.
Yeah,
they're all different. But yeah.
Yeah. Like my dogs, I have one big dog, one little loud dog, and then one that snores. And I love them all the same. It's hard to choose the favorite.
True.
She's so loud.
But yeah, with films, it's difficult because again, each one you kind of have your own reasons for loving it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, and also they're all different.
I love them all. I think if I didn't love them, I think I would feel like there was no real reason for me to make them.
Yeah.
I've written some scripts or script ideas that I wasn't, totally in love with. So I actually gave those away to other people.
Oh.
To make them.
Wow.
But generally, I make everything I write. I basically don't, do projects for other people. Like I don't write for other people generally, and I also don't direct other people's stuff.
Oh, okay.
Although there is a project in the future that I'm looking at that is not my idea. I can't say too much about it.
Dang it. I want an exclusive on what it is.
I'll just tell you that I'll probably be co-writing the script. and that it is horror.
Oh, sweet. Nice.
But it would probably require a budget that is at the moment out of reach, so it'll probably be at least 2 or 3 years in the future.
Wow. So in the meantime, you're going to have to make all these other great movies.
I have a ton of them. I have so many ideas of films that maybe not all completely original, but all of them have something original to them. Because I hate making stuff that's been done before. It feels to me like it kind of defeats the purpose. I am not a big fan of remakes, reboots, and even sequels. I feel that if it's not different to the original, why make it? And a lot of sequels that I see today are not that different from the original. It's like they're remaking the same film over and over and over and over. A lot of franchises do that. And it's like, why? Why you keep... Well, I know why. I mean, obviously it's money and people keep paying to go and see another one of the same thing. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But let's just say that, I don't know if this is an exclusive or not, but I've actually... I am planning to make a sequel to Revelation.
Cool. That's good.
Yeah, I've already mapped out a script for it. Haven't written it yet. I still have to finish the first one.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
that's exciting.
Yeah, it actually is. I would love to get moving with those because I have other ones I want to make too. So yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And you gotta try doing like one at a time.
Yeah, try to get some money back, from that one, and then put that into the next one, and then try to find more funding to actually make it. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely hoping to make some films in the future in the US.
Oh, cool. So see, you'll come over to the US. You said you've never been here. Right now it's a shit show, but in the future, hopefully it won't be.
Well, the problem with being outside the US is you miss out on a lot of stuff. You also get excluded from a lot of things. Americans tend to be very, I don't even know how to put it, but it's almost like no world exists outside the US for a lot of Americans.
Yeah, I can see that.
I've seen shows that they don't have any guests who are outside of the US. Only Americans. I'm like, why? You've got a ton of talented, interesting filmmakers out there.
Oh yeah.
Get in touch. The technology is there. But also for people who want to make films that have name actors in them, it's sometimes cheaper to just fly over to the US and make the film there than fly an actor and have, so if we can find a budget and make it in the US today, we have enough, connections there to get the film produced there and basically just flying to make it. So that's hopefully something that's going to happen as well.
Cool. That's exciting too. That'd be awesome.
Well,
do you know like what area?
Idea.
What was that?
No idea.
No.
It will depend on the script and the funding and everything else. It's just kind of too far ahead.
Yeah. I'm all jumping ahead. I'm like, so what are you going to do? When? Where? Who?
Idaho, anyone?
Totally Idaho. Come on. It's the up and coming film place.
Yeah. The new capital of horror. Haven't you heard?
Come on.
At the moment it's like it's too far into the future, but at the same time it's getting closer to the point where I'm actually talking about it. Whereas in the past I never did. It becomes more of a reality basically.
Yeah. That's great. Good. That's all exciting.
Once we get out of this getting out of this COVID thing would be a good start.
Yeah.
And then I can start planning things. But yeah, first I
Yeah.
still have to fly over to Israel to finish Revelation.
Oh, so you're going to go back there to film it?
Yeah, well, we shot the first half there, so
Oh,
I
yeah.
intend to finish it there.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make it in the same way, sort of in the same style that I made the first half. I think that if I make it the rest of it here, it would look a little bit different, like something
Mm-hmm.
would be a little bit out of place.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah. But for that, need to be able to physically get there, and also to be able to shoot without any problems. That's still an issue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
COVID has
The
really
the worst
fucked
part
up.
about it was when we planned on. I think I told you this before we started recording, but I was supposed to be there around now,
Mm-hmm.
shooting the rest of it, and we had the budget lined up and everything. And once this COVID thing came in, we lost that.
Mm-hmm.
So some of the budget I still have to find, which I will if it kills me, once this thing clears up. But yeah, it's just it's one of those things that is so hard to get, funding. Once you
Mm-hmm.
get it, and then it's gone for some reason. It's just so demoralizing. But
Oh, yeah.
it's an issue for a lot of filmmakers. I've spoken to a lot of filmmaker friends of mine, from the US. A lot of them have hit
Mm-hmm.
depression pretty much because of projects being canceled, because of funding being withdrawn.
Mm-hmm.
And I just say, well, it's disappointing, but hey, it's not the end of the world. We're still alive. We'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's just time. So it's more an annoyance than anything else.
Mm-hmm. And just, yeah, people not
Yeah.
knowing what's going to happen. So you hope that like whenever this is over, everybody will kind of start, like the funding and stuff, they'll kind of just jump right back into it. Now that, everybody's kind of freaking out, I think, where hopefully when it's over, they're like, all right, you know what, let's get back to it. Let's do it.
Well, with a lot of people having lost jobs and businesses and
Mm-hmm.
whatever, I think a lot of the funding won't be there.
That's
So we kind of
sad.
have to find new ways.
Mm-hmm.
Some people have tried, launching crowdfunding campaigns around now,
Mm-hmm.
and have received a lot of backlash for that, because it's like, why are you doing it now when people are having a hard time, financially? You're trying to
Mm-hmm.
get money from them for your project. I don't think it's a problem.
No, because if they don't have it, they're not
Because
going to give you money.
exactly, you don't have it, don't do it. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So all that means is that these projects are more likely to fail, rather than have any effect on on people losing their money on it or something. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's definitely interesting times we're in.
Gosh, I know. It's insane. Ready for a lot of it to be over. I'm like, man, it's just one thing after another. But, like you said, a lot of us are still doing okay. So that's good. It's
Yeah,
just
and
so,
in a way, we're all in this together as well.
yeah.
It's not like, some parts of the world are worse than others, but
Yeah.
everybody's suffering over this to some extent.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't feel too sorry for ourselves.
Yeah. No, exactly. It's like I even try like not even reading the news and stuff on some things just because there's so many sad and bad things. It's just I try not to read too much. And plus half the shit, like you don't even know, okay, is that real? Is that not real? Is this a true news outlet? Is this not? Is this it's like there's so many conflicting stories and
Is it
people
is it
and circumstances.
is it Third Temple? Is it Third Temple? Is it a political thriller by MyIndie Productions, or is this really happening?
Right? Is the new stuff on there real?
Well, I people ask me about that. They thought that the part that is the news was
Mm-hmm.
actually taken from some kind of a news show, and it
It
wasn't.
looks real.
But a lot of people, after having maybe seen it early or read the script before it was made, actually
Mm-hmm.
told me not to make it. They said,
Oh.
"Oh, you're gonna get in trouble over this." it's like this is too much. This is inciting violence. This is that. And I was just like, look, it's just a movie.
Yeah.
It makes a point, but it's subtextual. It's not really saying do this.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, the good thing about it is that when we made it, or when I wrote it, 2013, we shot it 2014. It's based in 2017.
Oh, okay. So they don't think
and
you
that's
like,
long gone by now.
yeah.
It was
I don't
based
think it's like a
in
revelation
2017
of.
for a reason. That was actually supposed to be a feature as well. I had the script mapped out for a feature, and then realized I'll never be able to afford it. Today, I look back and I think, well, it's a 28-minute film. If I would have known then what I know now, I probably would have shot a feature.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because you only need another, 40 minutes. It's like, yeah, it's doable.
Yeah, totally doable.
But yeah, at the time it wasn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well,
That whole film was shot in the same location.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Oh.
That was part of the reason why we couldn't really shoot anymore at the time. You get more background noise?
Remute my mic.
Yeah, the dog's going off again. What's
God,
happening?
yes. It's a lose-lose situation.
Yeah, no,
here.
we shot the temple in the studios at the university.
Mm-hmm.
So we only had that for a certain amount of time, and if we would have gone on to shooting a feature, we would have had to schedule that sort of months apart, and we decided not to. But yeah, we built a set for the kidnapper and the politician, and across from that set, in the same room, we built another set for the newsroom.
Oh wow! See, it looked like different locations.
It was different days, but same location. We shot it on the same day. It's just different lighting, different,
Wow.
There was definitely, some green screen in the newsroom.
Mm-hmm.
Because none of it exists.
Yeah.
It's just the people. We basically had a table, and the four people on the show, and the rest of it all green.
Wow. You did. That was good. It's very believable too. And you would never guess it was all same location at all.
I still love that film. Mainly for the reason that we managed to have a fairly static film, 28-minute film, and keep it interesting.
Yeah.
And that's what we were afraid of, that at some point, it might get a little bit stale and people will tune out. But that didn't happen. It kind of happened to plan, but yeah. I think after finishing that film, I knew that I was going to keep making more. Mm-hmm. At that stage, wasn't sure. It's like one of the first things we got told when we started film school was that I think I can't remember how much less, but less than 10% of us will ever work in the industry.
Oh, geez.
So yeah, towards the end, you kind of see how many people have dropped off and are doing other things.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tough industry, and it's you have to really persevere. You have to keep pushing.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have it in you,
Yeah.
So not many have gone on into the filmmaking industry exactly. Some are doing things that are sort of adjacent to it, that are technical. Mm-hmm. And most of the people who wanted to be actual filmmakers have dropped off. Went on to something.
Yeah, it's not an easy industry.
Difficult. No, it's very difficult to make money. It's very expensive, and it's a lot of heartache. So I think if you are not, you have to have a really thick skin. If you don't have it, go do something else. It's that simple.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing, especially on social media, a lot of people who call themselves filmmakers who don't have that thick skin will find out sooner or later that they're not cut out for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that tough. It doesn't matter how talented you are. I mean, you need that talent, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
but you also need to be able to handle it. It's a tough industry, but it's a
Yeah.
lot of fun.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Mm.
It's like,
I think anything you do in the arts is a bit like that.
mm-hmm.
If you're any type of writer or a painter or anything like that, musicians, it's the same thing. It's tough. You go through a lot of sort of lean years until you maybe make it, and if you can carve yourself some sort of a niche, you're in a good place.
Yeah.
A lot of us just really want to get to a position where we make a living from this, and we don't have to worry about anything else. Not, have another job to cover the bills. No, filmmaking does it. That's the dream, not looking to become rich from it, just to keep doing it. The dream is the work itself, not what I get out of it.
Yeah.
Well, not in monetary terms anyway.
Yep. No, I agree 100%. And it's like, even now, like through all this COVID stuff, you're seeing, I mean, cause like you said, artists struggle anyways. And the ones that really, the ones that are making it are having a hard fucking time because, it's not an easy industry anyways. And then now you have all this shit that's like knocking people down. It's like, now what are you guys going to do? I have to have a freaking regular job and stuff, but it's like, the ones that are relying on, writing and art and film and all that, it's like, they don't know what to do.
Yeah, but you as well, you would probably love to get to a stage where you can just act and drop the day job and just do that for a living. That's
totally.
That is the dream.
Yeah, I want to act and write. Like, I wish, my books would take off to where I'm like a best-selling author. I would absolutely love that. And acting too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, no, it's tough.
What's happening with the third book?
I actually just got my edits back yesterday, so I have to go through and approve certain edits and either accept or reject them, and then send them in. So I think I have to send them in within a week or so. So I don't know for sure, but I think my release date got moved up. I don't know. I could be wrong, but it was supposed to come out in January. And what are we in? June? So that's pretty early for my edits to come back. So I'm hoping she's going to move up my release date.
Cool.
Yeah. So fingers crossed.
And then the trilogy is complete.
It is, but I have an idea for one more, but I have to do that other, that box set book. So I have to work on that first. But yeah, the trilogy can totally be done if it needs to be. But I do have an idea for one more in there.
To make it a quadrilogy?
Yeah. And then after that one, I would totally end it. So like the third book, it can be ended. Like I could end it right there if I want to. But I'm playing with an idea where I might do one more.
Very cool.
Yeah. So fingers crossed this one comes out sooner.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we'll see. So now is your time to let everybody know where to find you, your website, Twitters, Instagram, everything that you have. Tell them where to find you.
Well, we are on Facebook, but mainly the website. The website, MyIndieProductions.com, is where you'll find everything that gets, funneled through to social media, to Facebook, where we have our page and our group, as well as project pages for, the series and the films and stuff. Same thing on Twitter. Twitter and Facebook is where, the bulk of our promotions are. If anyone needs to get in touch with me, basically the best way is through the website. You can just email me at info@MyIndieProductions.com. We also have Instagram, but we rarely use it these days. It's too hard to keep track of all of them, especially as there's only two of us.
Yeah.
It's tough. Yeah, we've done the work of pretty much a whole 10 people sort of team with 2 people. So now we're kind of trying to bring that down so it's a little bit more manageable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah. but we're out there. If anyone needs to reach us, we're there. Facebook, check us out. Check all of our artists out. One of which is you.
Yeah.
But yeah, lots of cool stuff on the website. There's lots of like free sort of viewing type pages for films.
Mm-hmm.
We try to link all the stuff to where you can find it, whether it's on for free or if it's paid, or VOD page or stuff like that, or to buy physical media as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, and another piece of news is hopefully very soon my indie store will be out as well.
Oh, cool.
To buy all our stuff, the t-shirts, all the other merch. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Bukkake
a lot
shirts.
of stuff coming out. Yeah, that's still being designed, that one. I can't wait to hit a design that I actually like for that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it will be out. Love that one.
That's awesome.
I'll have to wear it.
I'll buy it for my brother.
I'll have to make sure that they make them in my size. Yeah. Gotta have it.
Gotta have it for sure.
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right. So I'll just run through mine real fast. So I want to thank Crazy Ink Publishing for publishing my books, Broken Halo and Broken Halo Blood Curse, right here. Third one hopefully will be out within the next few months. I don't know, but I'll keep everybody updated. Johnny Daggers with Dagger Vision Film, who does my intro and my logo and my music for the intro. Chris Atella, who does my outro music, does my iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, intro and outro. I always thank MyIndie Productions. You guys are the biggest. Who are those guys?
Never heard of them.
Yeah, nobody cared. No, I'm just kidding. No, you guys have been amazing and you promote everything for me. And I really, really cannot thank you enough for that. So as always, I thank you guys. I truly, truly appreciate it. So, check it out on, as Itai said, Facebook, Twitter, MyIndieProductions.com. Sir Sturdy with Horror with Sir Sturdy. He's how I started podcasting. So definitely check out his show. He should be coming on this weekend as well. Bud Vino, he's a podcaster, radio show host, and he's just been in the business for quite a while. He has a show called Custody Matters Live, where he fights for parental rights and just kind of gives you the insight of all of that shit that happens. So with that, I am done, and I want to thank you so, so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me on. It's been a lot of fun.
It has been, and I will talk to you soon.